almost August. Damn! Damn! What the fuck was that? Damn! 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 I'm always acting so weird when I'm on camera. Hey guys, I'm Sophie and this is my book space. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome, whatever, if you're new. If you're not new, we accept everybody. Today is gonna be my July wrap up, including the Reading Rush wrap up. You know what? I think you should also go and watch my Reading Rush TBR. I will link that, and maybe, just maybe, my Reading Rush vlog. That would be a good idea. I think so too. You don't have any excuse. I'm gonna link them in the description. I mean, it will be so easy for you. Oh god. Am I desperate and pathetic now? Yes, I am. The first book I finished this month was Wallflower. I read it in Danish because in Denmark it's easy to find books in Danish compared to English. I have to sit still with this book instead of doing this. Like, that's just confusing. This is a historical fiction taking place in Berlin right after the wall fell in, 1989? Yeah. History is my passion. No, it's not. It's historical fiction. I enjoyed this. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. And it's just a nice book. It has insta-love, so that's why it was nudged down a bit. The next book I read was Eleanor in Park. I borrowed that from the library, which I'm pretty proud of. It has been like 1 or 2 years since I did that last. It's a really good feeling, actually, to borrow a book again. I rated that 3 stars as well. It was a really sweet romance between Eleanor and Park Wells. I could see why it got some backlash for being a bit racist. But I didn't mind. Well, I did mind it. I did stumble. Like, I did see, oh, that's racist and stuff. I just tried to look past it. That's what I'm trying to say, since it is set in the 1980s. And the third book I read this month was In 1,000 Pieces. This was a reread. It's a contemporary, has some deep and dark stuff going on, but it also made me laugh a couple of times, including death squirrels as part of the reason for my laughter. You'll have to read the book to find out. It is by a Norse author, and I enjoyed this. I wanted to read it for specific reasons, and those specific reasons were met. Let's say that. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. And I rated that 4 stars on Goodreads, I believe. Yes. So the next book I read was The Song of the Lioness 1 and 2. It is the first 2 books in a 4-book series, which is a series in like a chronicle or whatever. I think that's what it's called. It's like multiple series about the same kind of like country. It's fantasy. Those were also rereads, which is kind of crazy because I don't often like reread stuff, but oh, and those were audiobooks. But this month I reread 3. Wow. There's not much to say about them. I rated the first one 4 stars and the second one 3 stars. It's about a girl called Eleanor who wants to be a knight, and then she switches places with her brother Tom and calls herself Alan. Tom goes to I'm listening to them in like Danish, so I don't know what it's called in English actually. But he goes to this town, city, whatever, the Golden City, maybe. Anyway, and then he learns magic and is trying to become a great wizard because that's what he wants. And she then takes his place as a knight student, you know, she's trying to be a knight, a warrior, whatever. And I just remember liking those series, and I still do. It's a really nice one. So that was all the books I read before the reading rush. Now to the books I read during the reading rush. The first book, One of Us is Next. I read this Monday to Friday during the reading rush, obviously. I chose this for the prompts, The Color of the Birthstone, with is like obviously a blue birthstone. And then I chose it for the read a book from another that takes place on another continent. This takes place in North America and I'm from Europe. I enjoyed this. I did predict 2 things about this, like it's a mystery, so you're kind of supposed to be at the end and be all surprised. But I kind of the first like secret that was spilled in this, I predicted, and then I kind of predicted who was behind it. But there were some great plot twists as well, and I liked the cast. Especially the cast we also saw in the first book, One of Us is Lying. And I got to see Bronwyn and Nate again. And not as much as I'd like to, but it was okay. And there was also a really great ship with, like, the ships, that's what she's good at, this author, Karen McManus. She's, like, really good at ships. Or, like, relationship, whatever, writing those, because I'm in love with that. It's very nice. And I rated that 4 stars. So this has actually been an overall good month for me so far. And the next book was Wonder. It was a 4-star read as well. I listened to it on audiobook. And I chose it for the prompt, read a book that inspired a movie you've seen. Amazing adaptation. It's an amazing adaptation. I can say that now that I've read the book. The book had a lot of different POVs I didn't expect. But it was really cool anyway. And I overall just enjoyed it, and it was sweet, and I cried, and it was just everything I wanted from that book. And the last book I finished so far is Milk and Honey. I chose this for 2 prompts as well as the first book from the reading rush. And that was the first book you touch. And to find out how I did that whole thing, you have to watch my reading rush TBR. See, another reason to do it. I'm just saying. And then the read a book outside of your house, complete outside of your house. I gave this 3 stars. I like the first and the 4th out of 4 parts the most. I've dog-eared a lot of beautiful or strong or poems. Like some of them I also just like, related to or kind of could get what she meant. Yeah, not much to say about this because it's a collection, so it's difficult to really rate because you like some of the poems a lot and then some of them you like less or maybe even like dislike. Yeah. By the way, please don't hate me for dog-earing my book. We're all humans. We can do what we want. Yeah. The last book, The Wall. I started this and I chose it for 2 prompts as well. It was read a book with the word "the" starting the title, something like that, the wall, and then a book in a genre you'd like to read more of, because I'd like to read more sci-fi. I have like 6 or something, 6 sci-fi books over there that I haven't read at all, that I want to read. I believe I can finish this today and tomorrow, like during those 2 days. So I will do that. What was that? I'm acting so weird today. I'll probably rate this 4 stars. It is kind of slow paced, but it doesn't really hurt the book. Because it is... The thing about it is not a lot of stuff happens. In the setting this is going on, and you might think, well, why would you write a book in that setting then? Well, because later on a lot of stuff happens, but for that to happen, you have to have the first setting first. And it is like split into 3 parts, and those 3 parts, you can kind of see the main character go through different phases of like state of mind, and it's just a really creative and interesting way the main character narrates the story, and I can't wait to finish it, so I know what's going to happen, because right now I'm pretty concerned for the main character and his company. Yeah. That were all the almost 9 books I've read this month, which is crazy to me because I don't usually read that much. It's like more than half of the books I read this year, which maybe says a lot about how much I read, but it's because I've become into reading again lately. I have had like a long reading slump during like a couple years. Because becoming a teenager, reading hasn't really been my first priority. But now I really enjoyed it again, and I want to read more and more and more and more. Well, anyway, that was it for this video, and now it's cold again, so I'll put on my blanket again. I will see you, or you will see me. That makes more sense, because I actually don't know who you are, what you look like, don't worry. But I hope you'll see me again, you'll watch my other videos. I hope you'll come back to the channel. I hope you'll like. I hope you'll do all the other supportive stuff you can do. There's not much left to say except goodbye, stay reading, be nice to each other, and